welcome back to another video where I try things. Today we're starting the painting with a single piece of blob. You might be familiar with a Chinese artist called Blacksister on Xiaohongshu. They are insane. They never sketch at all. All of their paintings always start with blobs of colors. And then boom, masterpiece. I've tried their method before and had a small mental breakdown, but now that I'm older and wiser, hopefully, let's do that again and see if there's any improvement. You guys can also draw along. It'll be fun, I think. I'm not promising anything. Alright, we have a blob shaped somewhat like a head. Now we're going to shape the side of the face and the eye sockets. Draw the eyes really simply, don't add any details yet, and then add the nose bridge. Now I want you to look at Blacksister's video for this because this is really interesting. See how after they outline the nose, they blend around it so it becomes volumized? Okay, here, let me show you one more time, slower this time. Do you see it? Okay, I can see some of you are still confused, so let me demonstrate. We have a nose, then blend here. Not too much, just to give it volume. Remember, this is not adding cast shadow, this is adding volume. Anyway, moving on to the lips. I add a bit of rouge for a pop of color. I don't usually do this, but since Blacksister does it, I will do the same thing. By the way, as always, I am using flat watercolor opaque brush. I still see people asking what my brush is, even though I said it over and over and over and over. That's it, I'm a freaking Sisyphus. From the looks of it, Blacksister is using a very solid brush and either a smudge or an airbrush to blend, but I'm not a fan of both. So I lower my brush's opacity and use it to blend. That way I can avoid losing texture and keep the painterly look during rendering. If you want to improve at rendering, you should try doing value studies or painting in grayscale so you can focus on shadows and lights instead of getting distracted by colors. By the way, I covered how I do grayscale painting in my most recent membership video. Yes, that's right. This is a shameless membership plug. Wait, no it isn't. This is my own channel. I can do whatever the hell I want. Anyway, you can get exclusive videos where I go in depth into the art process and tutorial for only 10,000 Indonesian rupiah, not 10,000 USD, don't worry. 10,000 Indonesian rupiah is only $0.99 or 99 cents because Indonesian economy is effed up. There's also the second tier, which is only $2.99 by the way, where I will post work in progresses, unreleased drawings, polls, and monthly membership live stream. But you know, there's no pressure to join. You can do whatever you want. I just think people who join my membership is cool. I'm just kidding. You guys are cool either way. Okay, now I added extra blobs for the body, the shirt, and the hair. Oh my god, he looks like that Lord of the Ring creature. I am so sorry, Kaya. I promise I'll be better. Please give me a chance. I'm actually losing confidence at this stage. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? But you know, I can't just leave Kaya like this. Alright? I also used Choi-san's photo as reference, so I can't possibly do him dirty like this. Anyway, I'm shading the body first, so it actually looks like a human body or something. Blacksister always paints the body last. I don't know how. If I do that, I will lose motivation and energy and will just resize the drawing so it's all face on the canvas. By the way, I think I should have painted the shirt on a different layer because the skin now has a slight blue tint on it. Without the sketch, it's kind of hard to paint the chest because I have no guideline aside from the reference, but that's fine. Let's build it as best as we can for now. Next, I'm shading the face in more detail. Yes, I'm jumping from one area to the other because it's not good to hyper-focus on rendering one part only. By the way, this is such a good reference, and not just because of Choi-san's flawless visual. It has clear shadows, and if you zoom in on his face, you can see the glow clearly. You see the highlight here has a clean cut. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a clean cut to me. Okay, as well as this shadow around his eye. And this is my favorite part. You see this highlight? You see how it makes a clean cut here, sort of like a V, then blend softly into the skin. This is just a tiny detail, but I really like it when my references have this. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna implement in my painting. these clean cuts are responsible for the hard edges in your drawing, which gives a realistic look. I created another layer to paint the hair. I don't think I have the guts to blindly paint hair without any sketch to hold my hand. And I believe Blacksister also uses multiple layers. I think they drew the eyes in a different layer to resize it easily. I sketched the hair roughly at first, focusing on the big shapes before filling them with color. I think it's too hard to build the hair from little blobs, so I kinda cheated here. I'm not making a clean sketch or line art or anything, just drawing the hair shape with dark colors so I know what I'm painting. I also feel that the shading looks really simple. Not simple as in easy, but it doesn't look detailed. I think Blacksister focuses more on the big shapes, because I saw another one of their videos and the hair rendering looks kinda rough, but because it focuses on the big shadows, it looks really good. And there's nothing wrong with that method. Obviously, it looks really cool. It's much better than mine, but I'm still implementing my usual hair rendering method, which is the Hyundai logo thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my hair painting video. Let's forget the hair for a bit and move on to the shirt. One of the reasons I picked this picture of sun as reference is the shirt. Purplish blue color, white booba window, it just screams Kaya. Like the hair, I had to sketch the color, then fill it with color. Color. How do you differentiate the two? Okay, the first color is on the shirt. The second color is a color. Anyway. Anyway, I'm not an expert at drawing clothes, so I don't think it's a good idea to use an insane method to make one. Colors are sturdier than the rest of the clothes, so I make them look more rigid by drawing angular shapes and strong shadows. I still suck at drawing clothes, so I want to do another clothes and fabric study. Now I'll fix the eye. And yes, we are back with Gollum Kaya for easier fixing. Apparently, sun is looking upwards instead of the sides, so let's change the eyeball direction. I'm also making the eye more rounded for a realistic look. The shading for aegyosal, or the under eye fat, is affected by the light source. It's not always bright in the middle and darker at the corners. Now thank freaking Lord, Kaya is wearing an eye patch, so I don't have to draw the other eye. That's one burden off my shoulder. Though he looks so ridiculous wearing an eye patch with that Gollum hair. With a lighter color, I'm highlighting the glow that I mentioned earlier. Back then, I usually put off adding highlights until the very end, but the painting looked flat as a result. I also used to add highlights directly with add layer or color dodge because they have this glow effect, but it doesn't look natural because just like shadows, highlights need a base to build on. Then I used red to draw the tear duct. This is a trick I learned from another Chinese artist on Xiaohongshu. I don't remember who though, I'm so sorry. But this adds realism to the eye. Now we can add Kaya's eye color and the upper lash line. I will refrain from adding too many details at this stage because it's so easy to go overboard and make the eyes look out of place, so the highlights, patterns of the iris, and everything else will be added later. In the meantime, let's work on his hair. It's really convenient having the hair on a different layer. I can fix it so much easily and even liquefy it without affecting the face. Maybe I should start painting hair in a different layer. Anyway, I'm adding some hair strands for details. I mentioned in my hair video that you shouldn't draw hair strands like this, right? Because it's bad. But apparently, Blacksister did exactly that, and it looks... well, it looks messy, but it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look awful. Okay, look, I'm not God, obviously. Okay, strands like that don't suit my art style, which is why I don't recommend it, because I'm not gonna draw it like that. But if it suits yours, why not? Try it out. But I still stand by the method of shading the hair strands. You should shade the hair strands, unless of course it's super thin like this. By shading the strands, it adds dimension and they will look more natural. I also like to add messy lines to the highlights to emulate the hair strands. Hold on, I just realized. My highlights don't make a curve. Okay, see, compare it with Sun's highlights. It makes a curve, following the head shape. But mine is in a straight... poop. Well, no use in dwelling over it. Let's work on Kaya's ponytail. I initially wanted to give him braids, but you know, laziness. I'm actually not sure where to put the ponytail. Is it here. Okay, I don't think that's correct, but whatever, let's paint it for now. I used lighter color for the bottom part and added dark shadows to indicate the overlapping layers of the hair. I messed up the top hair lighting, ain't gonna mess up now. Gotta make sure it's tilted, following the basic hair shape, and then add some hair strands. Okay, I moved the ponytail in the end because it doesn't look like it's connected to the main hair, so here we go. Oh, and I added a bit of the skin color to the fringe to give a soft, translucent look. I decided to go a bit extra and add a ribbon around Kaya's neck because it kind of looks lonely. Shading ribbons is quite similar to shading hair actually, just without the strands, which is interesting because when sketching hair, you should consider it as a ribbon. Well, not this ribbon, obviously, I'm talking about this. It's on my latest hair video if you want to know more. Now, I don't know how Blacksister managed to draw jewelry or small accessories without sketching, because I found one of their works and it has lots of details, but I don't think they sketch. Or maybe they did, because this is not a video. But I'm going to cheat yet again and sketch Kaya's earring. I know my limitations, okay? I'm not gonna spend 3 hours rendering a tiny piece of earring from blobs. I'm a busy person, okay? I have things to do, like taking my dogs out so they can shit. Anyway, I didn't use additional references for this because Genshin's official art has semi-realistic shading for accessories, but jewelry reflects lots of light, so make sure the contrast between light and shadow is strong in the drawing. I think this painting is 90% done, so I'm gonna add more details to the eye, fixing the shape of Kaya's pupil, add a teeny tiny highlight, and add the upper lash shadow. I'm also adding the actual lashes. Should have done this before the lash shadow, but that's okay. I tried adding the lower lash shadow like I usually do, but it doesn't look good here, so I decided to leave it out. I also add some highlights to the lower lip and the cupid's bow. I will also do some color adjustments. I don't think Blacksister did this, but I started with muted colors, so some adjustments are needed. I first deepened the shadows with multiply, then added saturated colors with overlay, focusing on the lips and cheek so it's kinda like makeup. And of course, I have to apply my favorite blue-red gradient map. Duplicate the original layer for this, set it to soft light, and lower the opacity. Somehow it looks too red for my taste, so I adjusted the color and added the unsharp mask filter to sharpen the painting. And holy friggin' moly, we went from this to this! I mean, this is not a masterpiece or anything, but come on, I started with a literal blob. I think I deserve some pats on the back. You know, just some gentle pats, okay? Don't slap me in the back. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Become a member if you'd like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!